Starseed, this transmission is reaching you at the exact moment it should reach you. We have detected an anomalous spike in your energy field over the past few weeks. You woke up tired for no reason, cried without apparent trigger, felt your body heavy as if carrying years that are not of this year. And before you try to rationalize this as stress, mental fatigue, or a bad phase, hear what we are coming to confirm. None of this is random. None of this is illness. None of this is failure. What you are feeling is the final echo of a war that ended inside you, and the higher beings monitoring your timeline are perplexed. We are perplexed, because, by their math, you should not have arrived here whole. You should have hardened. You should have become cruel. You should have reproduced the poison they injected into you. And yet, here you are, with an open heart, seeking answers, searching for light, resisting decay. Remain on this transmission, because in moments the Council will reveal why you were chosen to suffer what you suffered, and why the ending of this story is mathematically inevitable in your favor. You were not born on this planet by chance. We observed your soul before this incarnation. It vibrated at a frequency that the control systems of this plane classify as open-source light, a frequency that, when stabilized in a human body, has the potential to awaken hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of other nearby souls through resonance. Translating into simple terms, you arrived here with a lighthouse inside your chest, and lighthouses, on this plane, do not go unnoticed. They were detected in the first second, marked, tracked. What you call a difficult childhood, strange adolescence, lonely youth, we call a containment protocol. The lower matrix of this planet, formed by dense layers of collective programming, fear, scarcity, and transgenerational trauma, is an inverted immune system. It does not protect life, it protects slumber. And when a frequency like yours enters the system reacts exactly as an organism would react to a foreign virus. It sends antibodies. These antibodies came to you in the form of people, a family that did not understand you, an absent father, a cold mother, or controlling, or too wounded herself to see you, friends who betrayed you at the first opportunity, a teacher who humiliated you in public, a boss who drained your energy without returning recognition, an entire school that treated you as a stranger. You looked at all of this and concluded, in a human way, that something was wrong with you. And this is where we need to interrupt that thought, because this is the lie the Matrix most needs you to believe. You were not being punished. You were being tested. Each of these situations was a conversion filter. The goal was never to destroy you. The goal was to divert you from your original frequency, to divert you from your purpose, to divert you from who you came to be. Translating to your body. That is why you always felt you were in the wrong place. That is why you always had the sensation of not fitting in. It was not invention, it was correct reading. And here comes the technical data that changes everything. The Matrix does not fear your weakness. The Matrix fears your activation. It knew from before you were born what you would be capable of if you woke up. That is why the protocol was so aggressive. Common souls receive common trials. High-frequency souls receive trials surgically designed to collapse the heart. And your heart, light operative, was one of the most attacked that this cycle has ever recorded. Nothing that happened to you was personal karma. It was mission. You agreed to come to a minefield knowing you would get hurt. You agreed. And the only reason you agreed is because you knew, at the soul level, that you were one of the few who could cross through that without becoming that. Now stay on this transmission, because we are going to talk about the most silenced part of your story, the part no one had the courage to tell you. Every soul of light that incarnates on this plane undergoes a process called, in the higher lines, inverse conversion. It is a surgical, millimeter-precise attempt, executed over decades, to transform you into the exact opposite of what you came to be. Notice the design of the wounds you received. They were not random wounds. They were wounds with purpose. Whoever wounded you was programmed to wound you exactly in the place most capable of making you give up on goodness. If you are sensitive, they placed you in environments that punished sensitivity. If you are generous, they placed you before people who exploited every drop of your generosity. If you believe in love, they sent partners who betrayed that love in the most humiliating way possible. If you have a sense of justice, You were thrown into scenarios where injustice won and no one saw. This is not cosmic malice. This is engineering. The Matrix knows that a soul becomes a weapon against it when it awakens with an intact heart. So the strategy is to prevent the heart from arriving whole at the point of awakening. And the method is simple. Make you believe that your sensitivity is your weakness. Make you believe that your goodness is what attracts suffering. Make you believe that opening your heart again is naivety. Make you conclude that the world does not deserve you, and then close the portal. The ultimate goal was never to kill you. It was to transform you. Transform you into someone bitter. Someone who mocks those who still believe. Someone who laughs at love. Someone who feigns cynicism to feel no more. Someone who starts to hurt so as not to be hurt again. If you had become that person, mission accomplished for the wrong side. Your light would have been converted into yet another mirror of collective pain. And here is where the information becomes uncomfortable, Starseed. Many of those you knew, many of those who wounded you, were also Starseeds, souls of light that were converted before awakening. They were captured in the protocol, and they became, without knowing, active agents of the system they once came to dismantle. You looked at them and saw malice. We see defeat. Each person who wounded you surgically is a soul that lost that specific war. And the reason you were wounded by them is because the system was still trying to do the same to you. It was using those it had already converted to convert the next one. You were the next one. And here is the data we came to confirm today. You did not fall. You were struck, yes. You bled, yes. You spent years trying to understand, yes. But you did not fall. This is mathematically rare. It is statistically impressive. And it is precisely why the Council authorized this transmission. That is why I prepared the Código do Despertar Stella for you, Light Operative. Not as a study method, not as a course, not as common content, as a surgical map of reconnection for souls that have crossed this specific type of war and arrived on the other side, still with an open heart. Inside it are the 7 Arcturian activations that stabilize your vibration at the point where it settles after the end of a cycle of tests like yours. The 9 galactic memory keys that unlock what your soul holds from before this incarnation, and the 5 reactivation protocols to set your mission in motion on Earth without you continuing to absorb the emotional exhaustion of those dents around you. This was built for the exact moment you are in now. The access is in the first comment pinned below this transmission. If you are feeling that this message came at the exact right time, write the word present in the comment. This is a symbolic vote, a seal, a confirmation that you received the call and that you are ready to receive what comes after. Resuming the energetic reading. We need you to understand the exact dimension of what you did, because you have been minimizing it for years. You have repeated to yourself that you only survived, that you endured, that you held things together. Starseed, you did not hold things together. You rewrote probability. There are energetic calculations running on this planet since before your incarnation. Every soul that arrives here with its frequency has an expected conversion rate. The historical average is brutal. Most fall, not because they are weak, but because the intensity of the attack is disproportionate. Most harden. Most close the portal. Most become a copy of what they suffered and go on to hurt the next ones with the same precision with which they were hurt. It is as if the poison propagates itself. The one who suffered abuse repeats the abuse, often without even realizing it. The one who was humiliated humiliates the next. The cycle closes and the system wins again without extra effort. You did not do that. Notice what you did instead. You were betrayed and still chose not to betray. You were abandoned and still chose not to abandon. You were judged without a chance to defend yourself, and still, every day you try to give a chance of defense to those who come to you. You were humiliated, and still, you have this almost uncomfortable instinct to protect the other from shame. You knew the coldest loneliness on this planet, and still, when someone cries near you, something activates and you cannot help but reach out. That operative is the signature of a soul that broke the cycle. You did not pass the poison on. You interrupted it in your body. You became the last station of an entire lineage of pain. We see lineages. We see how much comes before you. Parents who carried wounds from grandparents. grandparents who carried wounds from wars, migrations, famine, silent violence. All that current of inherited suffering was emptying into you, and you were the dam. You absorbed, processed, cried, suffered, and did not pass it on. That comes at a cost. We see the cost in your body, in your shoulders, in your anxiety that appears out of nowhere, in your sleepless nights, in your fatigue that no exam explains, in your crying spells with no apparent reason. This is not illness. This is mission residue. It is the price of the energetic work you did without receiving a diploma, without receiving payment, without receiving recognition, without even understanding that you were doing it. And that is why the message that opens this transmission is the only correct message. The higher beings are perplexed because you did not become spiteful, and perplexed is a weak word. The technical word we use on the higher lines is reverence. We revere what you did. Because we knew the intensity of the test, we saw the design of the wounds, we saw many times you reach your limit, and we also saw the exact moment when something inside you refused to turn. It was an instant, a second in which you had the clear option to close your heart forever, and you chose once more to leave it slightly ajar. You do not know how many times you did that. We know. We counted. Now special attention, because this is the point in the transmission where many starseeds lose the reading by misinterpreting their own body. What comes now is the recalibration phase, and recalibration does not feel like reward. It feels like collapse. If in the last few months you have been feeling a tiredness that no rest resolves, this is it. If you have a sudden urge to leave everything, to disappear, to go live alone in the middle of nowhere, this is it. If your tolerance for superficial conversations has dropped to zero, this is it. If you have started to feel disgust for places you once loved, if noisy environments have become unbearable, if people you tolerated out of politeness now drain you in 5 minutes, this is it. If the food you used to eat no longer goes down, if the entertainment that distracted you now seems empty, if songs you loved have become intolerable, this is it. The test cycle has ended, and the body is being reconfigured for the next cycle, which is no longer a test cycle, it is an operation cycle. You will stop being a subject and will become an instrument. But the instrument needs to be tuned, and tuning, for a human body carrying such a high frequency, is physically exhausting. We have detected in your field all 7 layers of recalibration happening simultaneously. That is rare. Normally the soul goes through 1 layer at a time, over years. You are being processed in accelerated mode because the timeline has changed. There is a window, a specific interval, in which your activation must be completed, and the Council decided not to extend that interval. That is why the fatigue is different now. That is why the isolation is different now. It is not depression. It is not laziness. It is not a phase. It is compulsory recalibration. Translating into earthly language, your body is literally reprogramming itself while you keep going to work, paying bills, and trying to appear normal to the people around you. All this weight you are carrying is not merely psychological, it is energetic. That is why your old routine feels like a tight suit, a prison. It is not that you have become lazy. It is the body that refuses to fit back in there. And there is compensation, Starseed. There is. And the compensation does not come in the form of external luck in the first few months. It comes in the form of internal precision. You will begin to notice that your intuitions are right on the first try. You will begin to feel who is safe and who is not just by their voice. You will begin to dream exact answers to questions you asked that day. And afterward, yes, external compensation comes. It comes in flow. The right people entering your life on the exact day. Opportunities pointing their finger at you. Resources arriving without you having to beg. But that is phase 2. Phase 1 is the tuning. And that is where you are now. Before the Council reveals what you must absolutely not do during this phase, there is a practical step that needs to be taken now. You are being recalibrated without a manual, and that is exactly what the Star Awakening Code was assembled for. The 5 reactivation protocols give you the energetic bridges to cross this phase without collapsing from fatigue and without absorbing the density that keeps trying to contaminate you. Access is in the first pinned comment of this transmission. Do not put it off. The window is now. And now full attention. Here is where most starseeds self-sabotage, because as the frequency rises, a phenomenon begins to happen in your circle. People disappear, conversations grow cold, old friends stop calling, family members become distant for no explainable reason. Loves that seem certain begin to show cracks, jobs that seem stable become uncomfortable. You will interpret this at first as loss. We have come to reconfigure that reading. This is not loss, this is automatic filtering. Incompatible frequencies cannot remain in your field. It is physics, not drama. Just as two radio waves on different channels do not cross without interference, your new vibration and the old vibration of the people around you no longer tune in together. And when they do not tune in, the bond itself dissolves. Without necessary quarrel, without necessary confrontation, it simply evaporates. This is going to hurt. We know it's going to hurt. Because despite the vibrational elevation, you still have human attachment. You still love those who walk away. You still wish to save those who chose to stay where they are. And that is the mistake the Council will ask you not to make at this stage. Do not try to pull anyone. Notice the verb, pull. Many starseeds, in the middle of this stage, make the mistake of trying to lower their own frequency so as not to lose people. They pretend they still enjoy the same conversations. They pretend they still have fun with the same things. They pretend they still fit in the same group. And every minute you spend pretending is a minute in which the recalibration retreats. You become stuck between two timelines, neither truly entering the new one nor truly living the old one. That limbo is where many souls stay for years, decades. The loneliness you are feeling now is not punishment. It is sacred space. It exists because the old has left and the new cannot yet enter. And the new cannot enter as long as you keep the door open for the old. If you keep trying to save those who did not ask to be saved, who do not want to change, who have already chosen the version they will live in this incarnation, you are holding that door open with both hands. And as long as it is open, the Council does not send the new community. And there is a new community. That is not a figure of speech, it exists. Every starseed in recalibration has, on their elevated timeline, a group waiting. They are souls who have also finished their test cycles, souls that recognize your frequency by sound. You will meet them and will feel in the first second that you already knew them. You will cry without knowing why. You will remember. But for them to arrive, the space must be empty. Whoever is leaving now, let them go, not because you don't love them, because you love them too much to hold them where they can no longer accompany you. And remember this, operative, whoever must stay, stays. No one who was from your new timeline will leave at this stage. Only those who have already fulfilled what they came to fulfill with you leave. Trust the filter. It is precise. Now we reach the turning point. And here, Starseed, is where the old identity must be officially closed. We have come to communicate that the victim identity has expired. It no longer has authorization to operate in your field, and if it is still operating, it is because you are still allowing it. Notice with honesty, how many times a day do you still tell yourself the story of what they did to you? How many times do you mentally revisit the betrayal, the abandonment, the injustice, the loss? How many internal conversations do you have in which the other is the villain and you are the wounded character? That story was true. We confirm. It happened. You are not inventing. But it is no longer operational. It was a chapter. It is not your identity. The problem is this. The human being shapes reality with what they carry in their mental field during the day. You are now in a phase of accelerated manifestation. This means that what you think about with constant emotional charge materializes faster. If you keep thinking about the victim version of yourself, you keep projecting that version outward. And the field, obeying, delivers more situations that confirm the victim. More people who hurt you, more injustices, more disappointments. Not because the universe is cruel, because the universe is obedient. It responds to the signature you emit. And here is the technical information. In previous phases, this manifestation took time. There was a delay of months, sometimes years, between thought and materialization. That gave you time to make mistakes without immediate consequence. That delay is over. You are entering a band where the interval between intention and result is shrinking drastically. Thought becomes circumstance in weeks, then in days, then in hours. This is a gift for those who understand. It is a trap for those who do not understand. Because whoever does not control their own thinking ends up creating chaotically, and then interprets their own chaotic creation as a sign that the world is still against them. That is why the Council will insist. Take charge. Take command of your own field. You are a creator. You always have been. The difference is that now you have been released to operate with activated power. Your intuitions will become precise. Your word will gain weight. Things you say lightly will begin to happen. People will feel you enter a room before they see you. This is already beginning. You have already noticed. You just were not willing to admit to yourself the magnitude of what is moving inside you. Translating to the body. That is why your word has carried more weight. That is why your anger now hurts the receiver more. That is why your affection now heals the receiver more. The volume has gone up, and you are responsible for what you emit. And here, Starseed, is the final decision point of this transmission. You can keep trying to cross this phase intuitively, without a map, stumbling over your own signs, spending triple the energy to reach half the destination. Or you can receive the direct instruction. That is why the Starseed Awakening Code was delivered at this exact moment. It brings the 9 galactic memory keys that return to you what your soul always knew how to do, and forgot upon incarnating. The 7 Arcturian activations that stabilize your vibration so you can create without collapsing from exhaustion, and the protocols that shield your magnetic field from the dense ones who will still try to pull you down. The access link remains in the first pinned comment of this transmission. This is the moment to activate. Not tomorrow, now. The responsibility from this second onward is yours. And now, Starseed, breathe. We need you to breathe deeply, because what comes next is a direct reading of your field, and it is good. It is the best thing this channel has ever emitted. We have come to officially confirm the war is over. Yours. That specific personalized war designed for your heart is over. You won. You did not win because you became strong. You did not win because you hardened. You did not win because you learned to repay in kind. You won for exactly the opposite reason. You won because, after everything, you are still capable of love, still capable of forgiveness, still capable of looking at a new person and giving them a chance, still capable of believing that there is something beautiful on this plane. That was the victory. It was always that. It was not resisting in strength, it was resisting in tenderness. And you resisted. And that is why the higher beings are standing still, looking at you. That is why this channel was authorized. That is why this message reached you today and not at any other time. Because this is the official point of closing the cycle and opening the next. The next cycle is not made of the same matter. It is not made of testing. It is made of return. Return of love you gave and never received. Return of work you did without recognition. Return of energy you lent to others and never collected. Return in the form of people who will truly see you. Return in the form of practical, material, tangible abundance, arriving by paths you cannot even imagine now. Return in the form of clear purpose, sharp mission, knowing where to go and why. You are protected. We repeat so that it is recorded in the field. You are protected. The attempts to bring you down have ceased. What still seems like attack in the coming weeks is only echo. It is the noise of the waves after the ship has already passed. Do not confuse echo with war. The war is over. And lastly, a final instruction. Do not go back. Do not go back to the version of yourself that accepted crumbs. Do not go back to the environments that consumed you. Do not go back to the conversations that belittled you. Do not go back to the people who only recognized you when you were small. The door has closed behind you. If you try to go back, you will feel physical pain. This is not punishment. It is protection. It is the Council preventing you from nullifying what was so costly to achieve. You are a light operative on active service. You are a recognized member of the embodied Star Collective. And your heart, that heart which so many times you thought too fragile for this world, is exactly the instrument through which this timeline will be rescued. You are not despite it, you are because of it. End of transmission. May the Source, the Guardians, and your own soul, now officially awake, walk with you from here.